Hi everyone, and welcome to the Intro to Web Development workshop. So we're going to be covering the basics of HTML and CSS here. So this is going to be hopefully useful for developing your own website for any hackathon that you participate in, and we hope that this helps you. Just be aware that this is a very, very basic introduction into the world of web development, and we definitely recommend checking out any of the resources we covered during the opening ceremony. Whether that's going through REPL or W3 Schools, they all have really great resources in order to flesh out your website. Don't also forget that there are web templates that you can use as well for editing when you're working on more rigorous processes that require a more experience in backend and things like that. So feel free to use those. Just make sure to give credit where credit is due. So let's start. We're going to start with the basic web frame, or the skeleton of your HTML site. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a simple header and filler text. And I'm going to move back and forth between the slideshow and a REPL file to show you how it actually looks in code. So we're developing a site for a memer's world, which is basically an idea theme related to the hackathon. Actually, the theme is breaking barriers, so we're trying to solve problems in your community. So for example, in this person's community, there was a lack of fun and people were always studying, so having to develop a platform where they can interact with new platforms, new GIFs, new memes, and all of that sort. They're trying to develop a site. So we're going to develop a really, really great basic frame for it. Alright, so let's head on over to the REPL. So right here, we have our very basic structure. So we start with the doc type tag, and then we always start with an HTML header, and then the title is what you want the website to be displayed as on the top. So if we look at this tab right here, it says Hello World, because that's actually what we named to be here. Here is called the style sheet link, which links to your CSS file right over here. And this is really important as we get on later on into developing custom CSS, a good style, a good look for your site. Each site has its own custom touch, so you can really put that together in CSS, but not so much in HTML. And you have to notice that they're both in these head tags. The header is where you would put your metadata, your tags, and stuff like that. Next, I'm just going to use a center tag, and I'm going to center all of the content in my site. And I'm going to start with really simple header h1 tag, which is the largest, the biggest tag of them all. And then we have a little paragraph tag. So these two tags are frequently seen in many sites, and look at this. We just have a pretty simple 2 lines. So I'm gonna uncomment, we're gonna keep moving forward. So next we have step 2, which is developing a simple meme site, and we're adding images here. So right here we can see this meme from Scooby-Doo, and let's actually show you how this works. So we're gonna uncomment this image section. I'm gonna refresh the page. So right here, we actually have our image pop right up, and I've actually used an Imgur link here. So you can use any image provider, image hosting site that you like to upload links to your site. Next, we're going to move on to step 3, which is learning how to use different headings. Before we talk about how each one is the largest heading there, but there are actually smaller headings, and they actually go up to H6. So depending on what you want to use your headings for, there's different purposes, and you can use them how you see fit in your own site. So over here, let's actually uncomment all 3 of these, and these are different tags that you can use. We're going to use H2, H3, and H4 just to see a visual look of how it is. And these 3 things could end up being hyperlinks that we'll learn later. Let's refresh the page here. And we see 3 tags pop right up. saying an About Us page, a footer, and just the overall title of meme reviews that we can obviously add content in later on. Next, let's move on to step 4, which is commenting. So you may have seen me in the REPL actually commenting, moving things around to help you navigate through the code. And that is one way to do it. If you're trying to teach someone, that's a great way to comment. But there's also another purpose. When other people are looking at your code, for example, when judges are going through your code for this upcoming hackathon, when we're judging, you'll see that comments really help us go through your code better. It helps us know about the topics, what you're trying to aim, what the objective is, the technicality behind your code, what we're trying to look for. Did you complete everything you were looking for? Those are all categories in our judging criteria, and one of the ways we're able to assess this is through these comments. So please make sure to add comments wherever you see fit. It's definitely really useful. There's not really any code to show you for this because I've already shown you how comments work, but yeah, let's move on to step 5, which is adding hyperlinks. So if you're in a site and you want to move to a different site, let's say you're on a Google page. Actually, one of the greatest examples is you're on a Google page, but when you search something up, hundreds of thousands of search results pop up. How do you know where to go next? You click on the title of the site or whatever Google displays, and we click on that and it redirects you to another tab. And that's really the crazy part about it, and that's all in hyperlinks. So we're actually going to take a look. So I'm going to uncomment this. I'm going to uncomment this whole section because it'll actually show you more about hyperlinks. So here I'm going to use an href tag, which is the link for where you want the site to go, or where you want the user to go after they click a specific portion of the text or whatever. And then we have a target field, which is optional, but I recommend using because the target field is a great place for you to show, open up a new tab or open up a new window. So those are really great places. Instead of refreshing the page that they're already on, using a target field allows you to open up a new tab so they don't lose whatever they have on the site. And inside these A tags, you have the option to type in text, and this text is what's going to be displayed, while the hyperlink is going to be linked to the text. So that's really cool, and I actually use it a lot in my own sites. So I'll show you a couple examples of me and what I've coded before. So let's actually refresh the page here. And there we go. Right here we have a hyperlink, and if I click on this, it's going to redirect me to the Imgur page. Right now, since I'm on a REPL, I have to configure this to a different setting, but that we'll do that later. Next, we're moving on to step 6, which is using the break function. And after we use the break function, we're also going to add some tables to our site. Sometimes organizing data is really important, especially when people are using APIs and they're collecting data from the user. And one of the greatest ways to put this all together for judges and other users to view is through tables. And I've used them a lot in my own project. For example, a couple hackathons ago, I developed a site called Less Spam with my partner Christian, and he was actually one of the organizers here today. And it was a site to find spam numbers that people would report. And one of the ways that we were able to display our results, the search results, were through tables to show the number, phone number, and the number of times it was reported. So they actually come really useful and really handy, and you can style them how you want. So let's actually go and I'll show you how it's done. Right here, the break tag is really useful, and I often use the break tag literally everywhere because break tag is a great way for you to take a look at where your how do I say this? It just gives you a lot of space in between your paragraph, your different tags, H1, H2, and as far as I know, unless you really want to use anything else like padding or margins and things of that sort. The break tag is so convenient. I'm going to refresh the page now, and let's take a look at how it looks. Right here, we have our text of wanting to watch videos, and this is a way to organize your YouTube links, your posting schedule, and your channel name. So using CSS and styling elements, you can actually add borders, colors, fill in for the boxes and things like that. So right now in HTML, it looks really, really plain. Let's move on to step 7, which is displaying special characters. And honestly, special characters are a great way for you to look at different symbols of such. Right now, on this example, we see euros, the trademark sign, and the copyright sign. And these aren't things that you can type in from your keyboard unless you open up the Windows menu. So one of the ways that you can do this is by using special characters on the site itself, using hexadecimal or just simply typing it in. So I'm actually going to show you that right here. These rates are right here. So we see this ampersand sign and then euro. That's the name of the equivalent value, the character. And we add a little semicolon after that. Right here is the numbers, the necessary numbers for the trademark sign, and then the and 169 is the trademark sign for the not the trademark sign, the copyright sign. So in order to find a complete list of this, you can do a simple Google search, and it will show you a huge list of all the special characters and their values. So you can easily copy and paste it. There's not really much to worry about there. And lastly, we're gonna go to logging in and doing embeds, video embeds and stuff like that on your site. So right now we're gonna use the iframe tag, which is a great way for you to view videos onto sites. So I'm gonna actually move, you're gonna see a login form, but we'll talk about that later. So right now, we have our video right there. And we have our video loaded right here, so you can actually play it, and it's going to show whatever you displayed. Lastly, before we get all done with this, we're gonna move on to the login portion. So our login form actually has everything necessary for you to kind of build your own custom login forms later on. So username, passwords, verification codes, all of that can be done. You can use your the Google Firebase, the Google Authenticator, things like that, and build them into your site. Those are all really useful, and many large organizations use it to verify the identity of their users. So right here, it's just really simple. Right now we only have a first name and a last name, but remember, of course, you can change this to anything you want. Let's go take a look at the code. So the code here is just the simple visa form action, and this actually redirects all of the inputted values to this action PHP page. So this page can be used to run its own algorithm to see whether it's in the database, it's been registered. You can create a sign-up form. So it's all there. The PHP, unfortunately, we're not going to be covering that in this workshop. You can search it up on YouTube, search up just a simple PHP tutorial, a login page tutorial. It will show you a really in-depth view of trying to, make your own custom login forms for your sites. So see, all it really is just adding a label and an input field, a label and an input field, and a submit field. And this is more than enough for making a really simple login form. So that's all we are really going to cover today for HTML. We're going to, now that we've covered the overall skeleton of the site, we're going to move on to something a little bit more interesting. Next, we're moving on to styling with CSS. So CSS is also known as cascading style sheets, and CSS can be used to color your text or center your images and add borders, add gradients, page background colors, and so much more. So unfortunately, since we don't have that much time today, I'm going to really cover just the simple parts of CSS. We're going to edit our already existing site, and I'm going to add different components that give it color, give it that extra glam. So let's take a look. So I think right here I have really simple code that changes the font family. We have a margin here and a different font itself with spacing. So let's try this out on the site. So I don't think the REPL is actually refreshing. So that's fine. Let's actually just edit the code we already have here. So one of the things that we can actually do is add a color to our frame, and we can do that by using a tag within a tag. So let's use our h2 here. Great. So I'm just going to show you a really quick, simple way that you can do this. You always use the style form here. Style equals a property and a value. So the property could be like background color, text color, things like that. So I'm gonna actually put this in our body to change the color. So we would do background color, and then maybe like a and if we refresh the page, it should actually display, hopefully. Right there, we have our coral red displaying in the background, and although you can change up the color theme, we can even do Alright, so let's rerun this. And there, now we have white text. So right now we basically put these commands here for background color and the color of the text itself. And that completely changed the whole body right here because of putting it in this body tag. If you wanted to change the color of a specific thing, I could do that right here. Let's say for meme review, I'm going to do color. Style equals, and then I don't know, let's keep it back to black. So when I click run, it's going to change this text here. So that really depends on what you want to style it to. I can even add a different command here that's saying, I don't know, font use Verdana, and that would change the font of the actual text. I have to verify whether this works. Yep. So now it's all in Verdana, and that's really up to you how you want to make it look. You have to make sure that these are valid family names. One way that you can do that is going to the Google Fonts library. They have a whole collection of different things that you can use to add to your site. And really that covers the basics of how we can develop a really simple site for your project. Obviously, remember that there's more to it. You can look at different tutorials using Bootstrap, which is another great way to develop sites, using web builders like Wix, Squarespace. All of those things exist. You can use them. And also templates, website templates. are always available to you on the web to develop your own sites. I'm actually going to show you a really quick example of a platform I developed called 𝗡𝗲𝘀𝘀. It was quite a while ago. It was for a project a couple years ago, and it has interactive models for people to look at and an overall finished site. So let's take a look at that. So right here is 𝗡𝗲𝘀𝘀. It's a really quick, small site. So all you need to do is go through the site. It's a tool to learn more about animals and spread awareness. You see examples of hyperlinks right here that take us to platforms like Discord and the World Wildlife Fund, and buttons that unfortunately we didn't get the time to explore today. But you can do a really simple search on Google, buttons and HTML buttons, and it'll show you how to work that out. It will redirect you, just like a hyperlink, to a different area. And contact forms are one of the greatest ways for you to build into your site. I see a lot of sites nowadays building in contact forms so that you don't have to display emails and such, that kind of help you regulate spam and other things. So you can build one in like this. And let's take a look at the embedding feature. I embedded models from 𝗡𝗲𝘅𝘁𝗲𝗽, now known as 𝗡𝗲3D, for a project. And here's an example of a bison that you can use in your own platforms. Just go to 𝗡𝗲3D.com. Here's an Arctic fox with a description and a river otter. All of these are embeds, so make sure you try them out on your own. And they prove really, really useful. And now here's a quick quiz. So the quizzes are built in HTML and using the same background as you see right here. This is in this is using a light coral that we use in our own site. And I'm just going to enter in really random answers just to show you how it works. So, and then it can show you results of what you got. So, honestly, these are all really cool and something that you can definitely look at in your own free time. Make sure you try it out. Web development is a really cool field. Our site, our 𝗡𝗲𝘅𝗀𝗀𝘀 site, we've completely refreshed it, and we did that in CSS, actually making it a purple-pink theme for our annual hackathon for this year. We really hope that you enjoyed this workshop. I'm sorry it was a really simple workshop, but we just wanted to get newbies into the web development field and how it looks, how it works. Please feel free to contact me on Discord or through email at aditya@hackalphax.co, because I will always be there to help answer your questions. You can also drop it in our Discord, where other organizers can also help you out with the aspect of it. Although I'm going to cut this short, it's a pleasure to help you out during this hackathon. Make sure you ask questions, because there's no other way to get help unless you ask. Our Devpost is available. You can submit projects anytime this weekend. We have tons of prizes. We want to thank Ethereum for sponsoring our hackathon this year. It's a huge, big deal. And honestly, if you don't have anything else to put in the chat, I'll head out. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this hackathon, and we hope to see you in any of the other workshops we have planned. We have Intro to Python coming up really soon, an Intro to Machine Learning, and possibly a workshop about flow states and Android app building. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.